Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to join with Daniel with his movie Boy de Conscious. Let's take a look at the clip.
Meus pais disseram que tem um boi pastando no quintal deles. Acham que é meu primo pela verruga na orelha. Até dei uma goiaba pra ele, estiquei minha mão na janela e ele veio e comeu. Minha mãe disse que é loucura da minha tia que não tem como ser ele. Eu acho que é loucura da minha tia também. Boi é boi.
Daniel, congratulations on your film and welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family. It's delighted to have you here. How are you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah.
You just got off the stage, right? Literally.
Yeah. We just screened the film, which is great. The packed theater room, so a lot of people there. It was very fun. Yeah.
How was it?
It was really good. I mean, it's the first time I'm screening in Los Angeles.
Wow.
So it was. I could invite some friends as well. So it was nice to have the film there for everyone. My daughter was there as well.
So
she stayed
sweet.
She watched all the 5 shorts, which is a lot for a 3-year-old.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So.
Well, good parents in there.
Yeah. I mean, in good film, so it's a great way to start. Yeah.
Oh well, listen, we're so thankful to have you part of this particular program as well, which celebrates filmmakers and films from Sao Paulo. It's amazing. For those that haven't seen your film, tell us a brief synopsis.
Okay, so Boy de Conscious, also known as the Shell-Covered Dogs, tells the story of this young girl called Ryan. She lives in a small town in the coast of Sao Paulo, Brazil. And there's like a strange epidemic where a lot of teenagers are disappearing, and as rumor has it, they're turning to oxen. So Ryan, she's looking for her missing sister amongst these stray oxen that are populating the beaches. And it's a film about mourning, and dealing with the loss. And so how this affects like the family dynamics, but it also in a more like a surreal, magical realism vibe to it, and like these like themes in a coming of age story. Yeah. And the film is loosely based on this local folklore in the region where we shot it, called Boy de Conscious, the Shell-Covered Dogs, and so that's kind of like where the film came from. Yeah.
I firstly, I love your imagination, because when I was watching it, I love the surrealism that you took us into. It was a magical kind of experience that also crossed between this mourning and this loss, as well at the same time. I love films around Brazilian folklore as well. Like, I think there's so many great stories in there. Where was that kind of moment for you about? Was it kind of the story that came first? Was it the kind of folklore story that came first? How did you go about thinking about it and turning this idea into a film?
So there were several elements, right? We woven together in the story that slowly came together. And the region where we shot the film, Bertioga, is this small town near the coast of São Paulo. And my wife is from there. Amazing. So I for the last 18 years, I've been going to Bertioga. I have family there in Bertioga, and I always want to tell a story there in Bertioga. Yeah. So all of the elements, I had this. It's like a very strong fisherman community there. They have this. It's an interesting city. It's small, but at the same time, there's this tourism vibe around it during summer, and then I found out about that there's a beach nearby in Bertioga that sometimes they have stray oxen run around the beach. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was such a compelling image. It's very interesting. Later on, I found out that the oxen is actually from this, some drug lords in the mountains that have farms, and it's another story.
Yeah.
But
the next film.
Yeah, that's the next film. But I also found out about this local folklore that's from a nearby beach. Also, Ubatuba, it's like a neighboring city, and it's called Boy de Conscious, the folklore. It tells the story of this ox called Ratambufi. Mm-hmm. It's an ox that always wanted to see the sea. But the owner always failed to fulfill the promise. The owner was always, oh yeah, I'm going to take you to the ocean, but never did it. And eventually Ratambufi, the ox, finds out that the owner was taking him to the slaughterhouse. So Ratambufi escapes the owner and runs off to the sea and disappears in the ocean. And then they say that at night you can see Ratambufi, the ox, parading in the beach covered in white seashells. So that's a folklore. It's a beautiful metaphor, you're escaping a doomed fate, or just breaking through the constraints, of civilization imposed for you. And with that, and then the region of Bertioga, and this was during the pandemic, and like how like the world of the teenage were going through, like what would be this world after the pandemic. This kind of like started like mixing, and I came up with this story, you know, so like a mixture of all these different elements. It was supposed to be a feature.
Yeah.
It's super hard to do a feature in Brazil, funding wise. I mean, it's like, and we were, and back in the time when I wrote the short during the pandemic, we were like going through this really like extreme right wing government, like no funding for culture and everything. So I decided, okay, let's do a short instead. I'll just like do it by myself and raise the funds. Like,
well done. It's not easy.
No, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But I'm really proud that a lot of help, like a lot of like amazing people around us made it happen. So that's kind of like how it came together.
Well, firstly, it's a beautiful part of the world. Like it was so nice to see on the big screen your film, because it's a really beautiful town city that was gorgeous. How like, I love also your imagination. You put so many different aspects and elements into this one film. How did you? I mean, firstly, you had animals in the film. Like how's that? Are they good to direct? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, the film was basically the short was put together in idea. Okay, let's make something easy and simple. But then I put an ox in it, and I mean. You have to have one hard element at least in the story. You have like one, right? You have to one unpredictable element that will kind of like take you like by surprise, and like it will bring magical stuff in it. It will be like really make you improvise and work around it. I think that's the good thing about shorts. You can have more space for that.
You can do that, but you really did have a fantastic cast, though. My goodness.
But and then we did find an ox, and we took an ox to the beach. It was his first film.
You took an ox to the beach?
Yeah, because we found this animal wrangler that works with animals for films, and we and he works with a huge array of animals, and we asked him, we need an ox. And he said, okay, you're the first person to ask me for an ox. I'm gonna see what I can find, and they usually are really like tranquil animals. They're like really easy, like to like just. They don't like cause much trouble. Yeah. But when we brought his name was Mimoso. It's kind of like Mimosa. Mimosa. So we brought Mimosa to the beach. It was his first time in filming, and he had like this rope, you know, because the owner just kind of like holding him around, and let's remove the rope because we need him to be like free in the beach. And then we released him from the rope. He just looked around, and he started like just walking and getting speed, and suddenly he was like going towards the ocean, just like the vocal. And but then that's amazing. We kind of brought him back and had the rope around him. With the rope, he stayed quiet. But it was fun. It was his first time on the beach as well, so I think he liked it. Yeah,
good job. Hopefully, he'll make some more Hollywood appearances soon.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, he's talented. Yeah.
Well, listen, I think your cast were really fantastic, especially your main character, and I was just curious because there's so much imagination. There's more in this film. There's a lot of different feelings and elements. How did you work with your actors in this particular film?
I think for the main character, Hayani. We really wanted to find someone that was, I think, first of all, a musician as well, because, I mean, we know all these like super talented young actresses, but the end sequence of the film we have for like doing like this huge solo, which is like it's a musical number. It's really difficult and hard, and to have like an actor that doesn't have any experience with music at all. It'd be really hard for the person will hold the instrument differently, you know, like even they can learn, how to play the bass and everything, but just this familiarity you have with music or with a musical instrument is something that you have to like gain during the year. So we first looked after like musicians that also acted. I was more fortunate, super lucky to find Bebe Salvego, which she's like this incredible musician. She's like a singer, and she plays the guitar, bass. She's really multi-talented. You should look up her music afterwards. She just released an album in Brazil this year, which is incredible. And she was like, really, like she has a little bit of experience with acting in theater, but not that much. And she was like really interested in getting to do that. So we kind of like, okay, great, let's work together. And we started like, it was more like a process of like, instead of like the regular just like rehearsals or like typical acting like mechanisms or steps, you do with like people from theater, or even like if from film school. We went to an approach where we just like talked about a lot of the character, and we kind of like did like understood how the character thought or felt, you know, in different situations, and did a lot of improvisation. So
Yeah.
many of the films we have like just like we have like a basic dialogue I wrote, but I never like it. So I mean, they just followed a little bit like the like this map, but we just like it was their words and like the moments that we kind of like put them together while we were talking, discussing
Good
beforehand.
job.
And we did have like this talented actress that played the mother
Yes.
and the father. Well, so we had Daniela Dams and Walter Batazar. We were like two actors, like were proper actors from theater and film. You know, that is good because they kind of like work as an anchor to bring like these non-professional actors, you know, in like in the mood or in the feel for camera. And all the rest of the cast were local people from Bertioga.
Really?
So people from like the community theater.
That's
people with
amazing.
no like real experience of cinema.
Wow.
So it was great because we went to the theater school there in Bertioga in the city we shot, and we just found all these like these super talented actresses, you know.
Yeah.
But they have one or two of them actually did some short films in the area and are starting really to get into film, and
That's
it's
great.
great. But they don't come like from this professional background,
Yeah.
you know. They have their work, they live in the city. So it's kind of like it's a little bit of like an Italian neo-realism vibe to it,
love
where
it.
you get like people that like really live that
Yeah.
experience, but have them they play these like made up characters, you know, with this made up world. But a lot
Yeah.
of what they're feeling, a lot of what they know is real, you know. So it is the case.
Yeah.
They're kind of like a mixture of
Absolutely. No, you
of
got.
people just being themselves and like creating stuff.
And it's nice to bring people opportunity as well to, you know, especially in the local area, to like give, you know, give back in that respect as well. Now it is wonderful. Like, I mean, you know, it must feel quite special when you're, you know, obviously here in Los Angeles, and there's a particular program that's dedicated to the whole program for the country, but also Sao Paulo. How was that, like, being in the program in LA, but like being with like you know, other Brazilians, other people from Sao Paulo? How was that experience?
No, this experience is wonderful actually. I mean, the short we premiered in Sundance, we screened in several other festivals afterwards, but we didn't have a screening in LA yet. And to be screening in LA in a group specific of like films from São Paulo, you know, like in this program of a lot of films from São Paulo, I guess was kind of like a way, like a welcoming, like bringing a little bit of home back to Los Angeles.
Absolutely.
And like, it's wonderful to show my film to people here in LA and like show a little bit of São Paulo, but it's even better to show it amongst other films, other aspects, because like São Paulo, Brazil, we have like so many different like layers and people and stories.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can see my film, you have this little piece, but then we see the other films, we see like Womb, or we see like Virgin, all these other short films. They show all these aspects of the area.
Yeah,
of
no,
São Paulo.
exactly.
It was
No,
really...
so you get to recognize it as well, which is really probably quite nice in some films as well.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, many of the places there, like the Counting Plains that are set in Guarulhos, and like, wow, that's incredible because we have like so many different people are gonna see. Like São Paulo is actually very like elaborate. It's like it's a huge city, so I mean, there's a lot of stories.
Absolutely.
And everything is very different there. So
Daniel, what's next for you?
well, I'm actually now working on a feature version of the intended first feature version of Boi de Conchas. So I'm writing with another writer called Natalia Celani from Brazil.
Amazing.
And we wrote together we just finished actually the feature
script
for it. So
good job. So it's happening. It's in motion.
It's in motion. It's in motion. Yeah. So hopefully we will have the feature version that we originally intended for the story to come out. No. And I'm also working on some other projects. I'm working on a new short film that I'm gonna shoot here in the US. So it's gonna be my first English US based production because I am living here in Los Angeles, but all my work has been outside of Los Angeles before that. So I'm bringing. The idea is to shoot something here in the US. And I'm also working in another project that's it's a feature horror, and that we do have a script. We are talking to some people already, like to get into development.
Excellent.
And that's kind of actually a mixture because it's set in São Paulo, but it's with a U.S. cast, so it's kind of like so I have like Brazilian production, U.S. production, and a mixture in them also. So working on these two projects. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, listen, congratulations. super happy and proud to have you part of the New Filmmakers LA family, and we're very excited for the feature version. But well done on well done, and I hope you settle well in Los Angeles. But definitely looking forward to seeing more films from Brazil as well from you. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much, then. Yeah, great to be here.
Thank you,
Thank
dang
you.
everybody.